What's your favorite, like different occasions? What's your favorite drink? What's your favorite way of drinking?
It's I've got, it varies.
So what are the different contexts here? It's like one-on-one.
One-on-one,
Like you sit down with, I don't know, Rogan invites you like it's a Godfather to sit down and finally have a talk about something.
it's going to be whiskey. It's going to be like a nice whiskey.
Neat.
No, I like it on the rocks, and I like lots of rocks. It won't be something expensive because Rogan is not, he's not a fancy boy, like he's a real regular, he's a really regular dude. He's gotten less regular the more millions of dollars he has. I think there's parts of him where you're like, oh wow, we can do this.
Yeah.
But he's he'd be like Jack on the Rocks or like probably Buffalo Trace or one of the maybe a whiskey he's buying. Rogan would be whiskey, rocks, and then like that's a good. I haven't hung out with Joe by ourselves. I take that back. I was with him the other night, but like it would be cool. My times with Joe's are always on podcasts.
Yeah.
And I missed the times where you just have you and him at the store late night.
Yeah, I'm okay with podcasts. Like I used to think this is like performative or something like this, but it's not really.
No,
it's just a chance to really sit down.
I enjoy it because of the people I could never sit down with. Like David Cross, I would never sit down with David Cross because we don't run in the same circles. But it's nice he has something to promote, and then he comes to my house, and then we can sit down for an hour and talk, and then or Kevin Smith. Like people I would never really hang out with. Tom, I enjoy being alone with Tom more.
Off mic. Tom Segura.
Yeah. We have a lot of history. There's a lot of secrets we know about each other, and there's a lot of secrets going on in each other's lives that I would never share on podcasts that I can talk to him about. And I really appreciate his, and I know this isn't on brand of us beating each other up, but like I really appreciate his insight as a dad and as a dude and as a son. But he makes me giggle harder than anyone. So doing a podcast is fun.
So there's something on a podcast that's performative for you with him, and then there's a part
with me and him because we're trying to make each other laugh. But I'll tell you, if we're going back to drinks, I'll tell you, like a great afternoon drink is a Campari Spritz. It's one of my favorite drinks in the world.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
Campari Spritz.
Campari is an interesting alcohol because I think it's a bitter. Or it's a liqueur, and it's got a weird rooty, earthy taste. It's red, so it looks like Kool-Aid. That's why I got into it. I thought Campari on Ice would be oh so nice. It was an old commercial, but man, it's fucking like sucking the Green Giant's dick. It is earthy.
What's earthy?
It's like it tastes like roots. It's
just, nice.
It's not. There's a bitterness and it's just not great. And then someone introduced me to a Negroni, which is Campari and gin and a little soda water, and then Campari Spritz. Campari Spritz is Campari, Prosecco, and soda water in like a wine glass. And it is so enjoyable. It's got so many different profiles to it where you get the bitterness, but the sweetness of the Prosecco, and then it flattens it out with the soda water, and it looks like Kool-Aid. So I love it. That's one of my favorite drinks.
To share in what context?
Oh, you're in Italy. And you've been walking around Venice, and everyone went their own ways, and the whole family comes back together, and you meet at a statue, and your wife's sweating, and she's uncomfortable, and your daughters are 16 and 18, and they're like, oh, what are we doing with the rest of the day? And you go, hey guys, it's Europe. Does anyone want a Campari Spritz? And everyone goes, I don't know what that is. And you go, 4 Campari Spritz. Now it's minor in alcohol, so it's not going to light them up, but it gives them a little bit of a buzz where they're like, Dad, these are nice. Isla didn't drink hers, so I drank hers. Georgia had hers. Leanne had hers, and we ordered another round. I ordered and they're fucking refreshing, and the buzz is perfect. It's not too much because it's just a little bit of champagne and some Campari. The buzz is perfect, and then a couple of them, and then they kind of disappear, and then you're just walking around again. That's a great fucking drink.
You ever drink alone? So there's two kinds of alone. One is alone like at a bar. There's other people, but they're strangers, right? Yeah. They're kind of like out there.
Okay, I've done that. Keep going. Yeah. Keep going. Walk me through all the alones, and then I'll tell you the rest.
There's all kinds of. There's a alone on a train. You're transporting someone.
I've drank an alone on a train. Yeah.
Train, plane. And then there's just alone in the in an empty home
or a hotel room.
And
it's Sunday night.
Sunday night.
And you're packing your bag and you got a flight at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
But Roadhouse is on and you're like, shit. So you go down to the front desk and go, is the bar still open? And they go, yeah, can I order some to take to my room? Sure. How about 6 Heinekens? 6 Heinekens? Yeah, my wife wanted one too. She's not up there. You murdered her. And you just say to yourself, I'm just getting 6 so that if I have 4, I just know I have 2 extra ones. And then you go through 6 and you're like, oh man, I'm not done yet. Dude, I've drank in every alone scenario you can possibly think of. I've drank alone in a helicopter with a dude who didn't know I was drinking. I was like, can I drink in here? And he was like, absolutely not. And then I poured it into a flask and opened it and drank it. And he's like, dude, we're in a fucking helicopter. You don't think I smell that? Mm-hmm. The best alone drinking you can ever do, in my opinion, now we're getting into the weeds on it, is alone behind someone's back.
What do you mean?
Like when they don't know you're drinking, but you're drinking. Like Christmas shopping. And your wife says, all right, let's all split up. And you go, cool. And it's like 11 o'clock on a Sunday, and they just opened that bar by the elevator in the Beverly Center, and you just sneak over and you go, hey man, can I get a double Jack on the Rocks for Rots? And they're like, sure. And you just have it and you just go, let's just, and then you're off. And then you're like, yeah. And then you just little sneak it. And then you're
buzzed and nobody knows.
And then your wife's like, wait, have you been drinking? You're like, yeah, I'm drinking by myself in a fucking mall.
Yeah.
On Christmas. How sad do you think I am? And then you go, yeah, I am.
What about mood? Do you ever drink in a dark place?
So I had a chick break up, or a chick cheat on me when I came back from Russia, and she slept with my best friend, and I didn't know how to deal with the emotions I had. And my buddy Mike Osborne said, I can tell you this: if you drink, they go away. And I went, okay. And that was the first and kind of last time I ever did that, because I did it. I've done it a couple times, but I try to avoid if there's emotion going to alcohol. Like, meaning not when it's anxiety, but like depression.
Yeah. I
kind of sit in the depression or anxiety. I lean towards alcohol, like anxiety, like about flying or just like getting worked up over something. But with depression, I try to avoid alcohol and just sit in it. Because I've gone there before. But anxiety is I land all the time.
But depression, heartbreak, all that, you just sit in the feeling.
Yeah. Heartbreak's a weird one for me. So like the last time I got my heart broken, Leanne dumped me. We were dating for like 4 months and she broke up with me. And my instinct was to have a drink. My friends went to this Middle Eastern restaurant, and I told them what was going on. And my buddy Corey's like, let's get a cocktail. And I was like, I don't want one. I got to figure this out because I want this chick. And if I start drinking, I'll be like, fuck it. So I got to figure it out. Like, I wonder, I'm going to find out my dad dies one day, or my mom. But my dad will be the rough one. My mom will be equally as rough. My dad and I are really close. And I wonder if, I've thought about this a lot, if I'll have a drink dealing with that. Like, I think about that a lot. I keep saying everything I get with my dad is extra. My dad had a 100% blockage in his Widowmaker twice. And both times they saved his life. And he got a stint, I think 12 or 13 years ago. And then he just got a stint this last year. But so everything I get to do, I feel like is extra. And so, he was just at the premiere of my movie and he got to see that. And he had a very emotional response. And I got that from him. And I was like, that's a little icing on the cake. I did, the arena in Tampa was the first time he ever saw me do stand-up. That was like a little extra. So all these things I'm getting with him are all extra. So I have, and he's 74. So yeah, that'll be a tough one.
Well, at the premiere, he was proud?
Yeah, he came out, he was sobbing, crying. And he goes, I've underestimated you your whole life. And I was like, what? And he was like, and he was shaking.
Yeah.
He goes, I just underestimated you. I didn't know you were this. I didn't, whatever. It was really hard to understand him, to be honest with you. I don't know totally what he said. He might have just not liked the movie.
I think you were hearing what you wanted to hear. What'd you learn about life from your father?
It's not going to make sense. I feel like sometimes I'm like a professional fucking wrestler because all I care about is you come and see me do stand up. So whatever I got to do to get you there. But the number one thing, my one takeaway from that man's humility, and I've applied it in different ways throughout my career. On my 26th birthday, he gave me a really aggressive speech. I was hungover, and I just thought he was going to say happy birthday. So I picked up the phone, and I was like, hey. And he was like, you are a tremendous piece of shit. And he broke me off. You have no humility. You have no this. You'll never succeed at anything. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to everyone around you. You're not doing what you're going after your dream. I broke you. I failed you as a father. This and that. I was like, I thought you were going to wish me happy birthday. And so in that speech, he told me if I wanted something, I had to go at it, and I had to go after it as hard as I could. And I had to do whatever I could do to achieve that. In this case, it was offering to do anything at the comedy club to get on stage. I told him that's not how it works. And he said, no, that's how it works for some poor kid from Harlem, because that kid needs it. He goes, you've grown up with privilege your whole life. You don't need it. You think you're going to be fine. And so I went, and I ended up getting a job at the door, but it's humbling. It's really like, it made me feel uncomfortable. And so that humility, it's the first time I really understood humility, and I've applied that in many respects in getting to be a paid regular at the Comedy Store. That happened late in life for me, and which I think most people would give up and be like, fuck that. I'm already a touring comic. I'm on TV. I don't need that. But it's something I wanted, and I knew I wanted, so I just humbly went after it. And then I think I still apply it when it comes to selling tickets or selling a project to fans, or even to doing podcasts. I try to be as honest as I can about whatever I'm going through or whatever I'm dealing with. But when it comes to like selling things, I don't have a problem trying to make fun of myself or get in front of people so that they know that I have a show. Because the thing I'm good at, the one thing I know I'm good at, stand up. And I say that humbly, but like, I want them to come there. So like, I've heard people make fun of me like before. They're like, yeah, I'm not some clown in a Speedo I'm a real comic. And I go, okay, but I want them at my shows, and you can be that guy and I'll be this guy.
Yeah. The clown in the Speedo.
Yeah. It's like, what are you going to do? Funny people make fun of me for taking my shirt off. Like, I guess behind my back, no one ever does it to me. Like, no one would ever. Comics aren't that manly.
Yeah.
But I always go like, what do you care? What do you care?